Back at Into Moto in Warrington. Now, I've reviewed the Himalayan before and I've reviewed the Scram 411 before, but which should you buy out of those two? I'm going to do a comparison with both of them. Everybody's different, everybody wants bikes for different things, but I want to have a look at, if it was my money, which one would I buy? Let me know in the comments which one you'd pick. Listen to that exhaust. Yes, I do love the aftermarket exhaust on these. The Lextech exhausts sound really good. I've done a review on the Himalayan before. Now personally I love the Himalayan and I'm not embarrassed to say it. I think these things are awesome. I think they're one of those bikes that are really great value, as are all the Royal Enfield, but it's a bike that genuinely you do feel like you can go anywhere on it, and you can, you know, these things would be decent for a bit of light green laning, and they feel all right on the road as well. Nice bit of wind protection on them, and I do like all the funky dials on there as well. By all means, have a look at my Himalayan review. I'll put a link to it in the description. I'm going to be forever wiping my camera because it's raining. What do you guys think of the Himalayan? I've got friends that love these bikes, but I've also got friends that really don't like them as well. I'm on the really like them camp. My friends that have got a dislike for these bikes, I think generally because they're used to having bikes of a similar kind of similar style. So they've got adventure bikes, but they've got adventure bikes that have got 1,000+ cc's to them. So in comparison to one of them, this will feel a bit lacking in power, and there's nothing you can do about that. It's got a 411cc engine with it, so it's not going to pick up like a 1200cc GS, so it's an unfair comparison. But if you were to compare this alongside something like the Honda CRF 300, then that for me is more comparable, you know, power wise and everything. They're very similar. Seating position, I would say that this is more comfortable bike than that, and price wise I think this is it's quite a bit cheaper than those as well. So you are getting a lot for your money with one of these, and power wise, you know, it for the engine it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. Let's try the brakes. Yeah, the brakes are decent on it. It stops well, it goes well. I personally really like these. I like the fact that it's quite a tall bike, so you can see quite a lot, but it's not too tall for a little one like me that I can't get my feet down. Oh, this weather's awful. So for this, I'm on the balls of my feet, but I don't feel unsteady. It's certainly not as high as the Suzuki V-Strom that I had. I think it's about 50mm at least shorter than that, so I do feel quite stable on this. I do love on this bike the standing up position. That for me is one of its big selling points. So show you what I mean. See, when I stand up on this bike, it's absolute perfection for me for a bike that stands up. And I always found when I stood up on the V-Strom that I had just didn't feel quite right. I think the pegs were a little bit too high and it just felt a bit clumbersome for that, whereas this is more like a bike that you could take off road. It just feels perfect. And I know, you know, for me it's perfect, but your legs might be a different size, but you know, this is all about me, and I really like it. So for me at 5'8", with my leg and arm size, this bike is awesome for when you're standing up. So if you want a leg stretch, or you go and doing some green laning, which this will be able to do easily, if you go and doing that, this bike is brill for it. Is the Scram better? I do really like this bike. Oh, listen to the pop from that exhaust. Oh, Lex Tech, you sexy sausage. Love to go and take one like off the beaten track and see what they're capable of. And the seating position's nice. My back is nice and straight. I'm not stretching for the bars, but I don't feel like the bars are really close either. It's just a comfortable seating position. It's going to be a difficult comparison today because I like this bike, but I also like the Scram as well. And I think it genuinely, with both of these bikes, I think it boils down to what you actually are going to use them for, because they're both very similar performance wise, as you would expect. Same engine. That's my ride done of the Himalayan. I'm going to take the Himalayan back, and while it's all fresh in my mind, I'm going to jump on the Scram, and then I can see a direct comparison with the pair of them and see which one I think is best. Now, I have only done a road ride today, so I'm going to base it on the road. Bike number 2. It's raining, so I'm going to keep it nice and quick so I can get riding again. The Scram 411. So let's compare this on a ride to the Himalayan. I'm not going to do a walk round because I've done a review on this bike previously. I just want to see which bike is best for everyday riding, which one's best for what I use the bike for, which is mainly road riding. I've got to tell you, I mean, at the minute, all I'm being told is that Royal Enfield have got a brand new bike, a new model that's coming out in the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to be getting a go on it on the day it comes out. So I'm pretty excited. I've got no real details yet, so I've got nothing to share with you, but it's coming soon. That's all I've been told. So I'm just really excited to see what Royal Enfield bring out next. So this new bike is going to be with us in a couple of weeks. As soon as it comes out, I'm going to get a review on it straight away, which is brilliant. It's going to be like a big exclusive for me. And as soon as it's adding to Moto, I will let you know on the day, because I'm going to get my editing fingers working overtime so I can get it out there straight away. So I'm really excited by it. As far as details go, I've got absolutely nothing to share with you yet, only that it's a brand new model. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it. We might be fortunate enough that if you live local to Warrington, you might well be able to pop into Moto to see it, because I believe the bike that I'm going to be getting to play on is going to be at Moto for a couple of days. So if you wanted to see it in person, it'll be there. Again, can't give you details yet. Let's get back to this comparison and we'll see which is best. I actually feel more comfortable on this. I don't know if it's the seat's a little bit more padded. I should imagine it'll be that, but it feels more comfortable. There doesn't seem to be anywhere near the amount of vibration through the seat as well. And the Himalayan's great, and don't get me wrong, you'd have just seen, I love the Himalayan. I think it's a great riding bike, but you can feel the vibrations through it like it's an off-road bike. But I love the Himalayan, but this feels loads more civilized. When you jump on one and then straight on the other, you feel a massive difference on this, comfort wise. This feels really smooth when you're on the road itself, and I should imagine that's down to the tyre choice, but still, comparing both bikes back to back, this is a hell of a lot smoother. Oh, this weather's atrocious. The things I put myself through for your viewing pleasure, or for you to kill 10 minutes while you're in work. This has got the standard exhaust on, so it hasn't got loads of noise popping and squealing from the engine. So all in all, this feels just loads more civilized. No wind protection on this one either. I don't know if that's something you could buy aftermarket. I'm sure you could. Get that, there's a bike fan there for the future. Good lad. Yeah, this sounds nice when you wind it on a little bit. This one just feels better for the road. The Himalayan, I can't stress this enough, because I like that bike. I really do. I love that bike, in fact. But this, for the road, just feels loads more comfortable. The power delivery on this feels smoother, and yeah, I've done a review on the Scram 411 before, and feel free, I'll put the link in the description for that one as well. I'm going to do a stand-up test. Fine to stretch your legs, but you do feel, I don't know if it's the exhaust or what, but you feel kind of a lump in your calves. So it's not the greatest for standing up. So as far as taking this off-road goes, I know it's not really made for that, but if you were standing up for any length of time, you'd probably feel a bit of a rub in your calf. But if you're going off-road for any length of time, you'd get the Himalayan, wouldn't you? Because this bike is more road biased. Well, that's certainly what my choice would be anyway. Yeah, do you know, on this bike, the power delivery is really good. It's so smooth through the gears and the gear changes. You would think you were on a really expensive bike, you know. I think that's the difference between this and the Himalayan. I think the Himalayan seems a little bit more kind of, you wouldn't be bothered about bashing it a little bit. It seems kind of a bit more rough around the edges. So the Himalayan for me is one of those bikes that you wouldn't be overly bothered if you kind of went into a bush on it and got scratches and bits of leaves and dirt. You wouldn't care, because it's that kind of bike. It's a bit more agricultural. You'd be not overly bothered about getting it dirty, whereas this just seems that little bit more pristine. It just seems like you'd have to keep it clean, because it looks nicer. It's a difficult one for me, because hand on heart, I genuinely like both bikes. I think, considering they are, you know, based on a very similar platform, engine wise, power wise, everything, even down to the price, I think there's not a lot of difference between them price wise. As far as bikes go, they are for completely different things, and whilst they are both great bikes, I'd be quite happy to own a Himalayan, because I'd probably never clean it. I wouldn't, but I'd be quite happy driving around town on it, going up and down dirty roads, dirty green lanes and stuff, and probably give it an occasional hose every now and then. But I think if I had this, I think after every ride I'd probably have to give it a quick wipe down, just to make sure it was still pristine, because I just think this looks a bit more classy. Oh, it's so wet. The decisions. Two absolute great bikes, and if you're interested in either or, you know where to go. Link in the description for Into Moto. I'm going to take this bike back anyway, because I need a coffee and a hairdryer. I think I need to go and get dry, because I'm absolutely bloody soaked. But both great bikes. Let's cut to the showroom, because I'm not even going to talk outside because I'll just get wetter. I've had to come in to do the sign off because it's absolutely lashing it down outside. I am dripping, absolutely dripping. But I've got to just say, both of those bikes are awesome. I love both of them. But if I had to nail it down to just picking one, it's a difficult choice. But I would say, personally for me at the minute, I'm doing a lot of road riding, and because of that, I would have to pick the Scram. I'd have to. The Scram is a better bike for the road. Royal Enfield are making some awesome bikes. The Himalayan and the Scram are both great bikes. But the Scram is better for the road. It's more comfortable. It seems to be a lot smoother. There's less vibration with it. It's just a better looking bike for me. And I'm not doing any green laning or off-roading, so I can't justify the other one, giving a choice of the two. So yeah, it's the 411 for me. Let me know if your choice will be different. I'm sure there's loads of people out there that like getting dirty, in which case the Himalayan's better for that. But yeah, for what I use my bike for at the minute, it's a 411 all day. I thank you.